If you don't have a clear system on how you manage your data, or you know your current process can be improved, here's the exact list management system we built inside our 7-figure business that you can copy. My name is Isaiah, and in this video, I'm going to walk you guys through how we manage all of our data all in one spot so your team can operate with more clarity, better visibility, and less chaos as you scale. And we combo this with our current CRM, Simply, and it's an absolute game changer. However, you can combo this with any other CRM as it fills in the major gaps when it comes to managing data and marketing to it. Let's dive into it. And so I'm going to walk you guys through on how we use this table. You guys can follow along. I'll put the Notion template down below, totally free, and you guys can use this for your own wholesale real estate business. And so to start, I'm going to show you guys an example of the lifeline of how we bring one list and move it through this whole process. So let's just say potential list is a current status. This is a list that we are going to potentially market to down the road. So let's just say Tampa, Florida is one that we want to market to. And I already created it, but what you would do is you just click new and it would automatically show up in this section. And you just put in the city, the county, the list type, and the date pulled. It's just helpful to have it like that naming convention. However, you guys can do whatever works for you. So I'm just going to say Tampa, Florida, though, just to keep it simple. And now let's say this is a deal that we want to eventually market to. So on deck means, hey, I'm telling my whole entire team, hey, this is a list that we want to market to next. And then next is actually exporting this data. So there's a bunch of different data sources where you can export this from. And we have separate videos on how to do that. Let's just say I'm going to export it from either PropStream, CropWire, or Deal Machine. There's all these different data sources. That's what I would do. So we're in the process of exporting it. And then you would import it into your CRM, Go High Level, Resimpli, whatever the case is, or Podio. You would import it into Resimpli. So now we know that we've exported the data from our data source and we've imported it into our CRM. And then sometimes we combine them just to keep it simple, and we manage it here when it's a very small number of lists, or rather the records are very low. But to not do that and to not overcomplicate it, let's just say we're not going to combine it. And so we're going to skip that section. And so now we're going to skip trace it. So you exported it, you imported it into your CRM, and now you're skip tracing it. You need to skip trace this with a variety of different sources. Either Resimpli skip tracing if you're using Resimpli. You can use data skip. You can use direct skip. There's thousands of skip tracing sources. So whatever skip tracing you want to do, I recommend just exploring that. There's different pricing there. I'll put some links down below for the skip tracing sources that we recommend. So next though, you would skip trace it, and then once you're in the process of actually skip tracing it, you say data has been sent to skip trace, and then you'd say, hey, it's ready for marketing. And then from there, you would actually market to it. So when you're ready to market to it, start calling it or texting it or emailing or whatever the marketing channel is, you would put it into this section. And then once you're finished there, you'd say done. And that is the process that you would use to know where the data is at. Furthermore, if you're going to call it, this is what we do as well. So this is for our current lists. And it's cool. Anything I want to adjust here, I can just click into it. And these are all different attributes for the list. So say I wanted to tell my team, hey, this is a high priority list, and click high priority. The list type, I can say it's a different type, and I could just put all these different attributes for this list. And it is very helpful to see what's going on. Like, hey, this is a quality list. The data source that we did was PropStream, so then we could filter out, hey, these are all the data sources that we did in the past. The asset class is a single family list. So you could put all this in one spot just to see what's going on with it. And when you created the list, and that automatically appears. So it's really cool. And so let's just say calling. Say we're going to call this list. I want to assign it to a caller. So I'm going to go to the calling status, and let's just say caller, let's just say Keisha, for example. So I'm going to go to the calling, and then now I can see all of our lists and see how many lists are going to each caller. And so this is cool because you want to make sure that there's balanced lists. Balanced list is where you want an even number of lists per caller. And for example, say you're going to do multiple cycles, because what we do is we don't just call a list once and then just end it. We call that list 3 times to make sure that we are squeezing the most out of that data. And so what happens is when you're calling a list for the first time, you get a lot better answer rate versus calling it a third time. And so you want a balanced list where, say, for example, Keisha, you want to give her a few first cycle lists, so ones that you're calling for the first time, and then a few that are in the third cycle or second cycle. So it's balanced where she is always reaching out to somebody. And this is a way to manage that. So you can see, okay, it's in the second cycle, she has a first cycle, etc. So a very, very cool process that you can see one-stop shop here. And then regarding the calling status, you can actually see where this is. So Tampa, Florida says it's not started yet. I can do the exact same conveyor belt process, but for where it is when it comes to actually calling this list. So, hey, it's on deck. I want to tell my team, hey, it's on deck. And now, okay, I'm doing the first cycle. So I've called all of it through. Let's just say it was like 5,000 records. I called it all. And we could actually add in that amount of records if we wanted to. And then let's do second cycle, third cycle. And then next is pending post calling. So what this means is any people that are not interested, that's a disposition that we do. So when we're calling people and they say, hey, I'm not interested at this time, we put that disposition. And what that means is like the call status. So for example, like wrong number, or if it's a lead, we also have not interested. And people that are not interested, that means that they are people that were the right owner, but they're just not interested at this time. And it could change where they could be interested a few months or a year down the road. So we like to capture those people and reach out to them in a year just to see, hey, has anything changed? Are you looking to sell your property? And so that's a very good list because you've talked to all those people before and you know they're the right owner. And so once we're done with all the cycles, we are able to manage this where we are seeing, hey, let's reach out to all the people that are not interested a year from now. So we're able to manage it through this process. And so once we're done here, we say post calling steps, which is, hey, we did all the steps to complete that. And then we do a whole cycle where we're calling this list and we're calling the people that are not interested and seeing if anything has changed. So we call them once, twice, so usually just do once and seeing if anything has changed. And we usually do this a year later just to see if anything's changed in there. And pending post call not interested steps is just updating our system of basically just updating this right here. And then we say finished and then we're done. So that is the calling status. And then we do the same exact concept for texting. So say for that same list, we just called it all. And now, okay, we want to know where things are at for texting. We can say Tampa, Florida. Here it is. And then we can say first cycle, we're waiting. Given your texting platform, you may have to wait a certain period of time before you can retext that list. So we put this waiting period as an option. And then we go second cycle, third cycle. So we're texting the same list 3 times. And this is how we're managing it. So we're moving it as we go. And so next is pending post steps, where we are just updating our system. And then any ones that are on hold, we put on hold. And so that is how we manage our lists. In tandem with this, we are using our CRM. So what we do here is we simply, you guys can probably do the exact same thing, go high level or whatever CRM you're using. But the idea is any list that you're reaching out to in this process of say conveyor belt, we are importing it into our CRM. And why this is important is because we can see if it's already a lead in our system or where that data is. So we import it in here, and then we can, it basically cross-references our whole database, and then any ones that aren't a lead, then we reach out to, because we don't want to reach out to people already in our system. So that is how we approach that and be more efficient. So that's why you import it into our CRM in the first place. And so one thing that's really cool is list stacking. So this is a pro tip. So what list stacking is say, for example, you're pulling a list of people that have secondary homes and then people that are going through foreclosure. Rather than having 2 different separate lists, you can make it very targeted where you are reaching out to both of those people that have that attribute. So say, for example, I go filter. I'm going to say list to include. And let's just say list to include is absentee owner. This is how we name it. And this is say blanket plain. So blanket pain is people that are, the pain situation of foreclosure. They inherited the property. There's code violations, any kind of pain situation. That's what we've done. And when I do this, I'm going to say and. So it's absentee owner and blanket pain. I want them to be on both of those lists. This is how you get very, very targeted. So you can see that this property right here, and this will all be blurred out, but this property right here, they're absentee owner and blanket pain. So there's a very high chance that, okay, this person doesn't own the property and they're in a situation that they may need to sell quickly. Very high chance that they would be open to an offer. That's what you can do. You can create your own list and then manage it through List Hub is what we call it. So that is how we manage our data. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And I hope this was helpful. If you got any value out of this, please subscribe and drop a comment. This channel is where I show real estate operators how to scale businesses through systems, organization, and AI using wholesale real estate as the proving ground. Click the links below for all my resources. Thank you.